The diplomatic hall of the Zanari mothership gleamed with bioluminescent panels that pulsed in rhythmic waves, casting ethereal shadows across the assembled delegates. Alex Richardson stood among the human contingent, his heart hammering against his ribs as he watched the Zanari representatives glide into the chamber. This was humanity's first formal contact with an advanced alien civilization, and the weight of history pressed down on every shoulder in the room. Then he saw her. Ashley, or rather, the being who would later choose that name, moved with a grace that defied the ship's artificial gravity. Her skin shimmered with an opalescent quality, shifting between shades of violet and silver. Her eyes, large and luminous, held depths that seemed to contain entire galaxies. 4 delicate fingers on each hand moved in unconscious patterns that Alex would later learn was the Zanari equivalent of breathing exercises. The moment their eyes met, something inside Alex's chest expanded and contracted simultaneously. It was absurd. Impossible. He was a xenobiologist, trained to observe and document, not to feel this overwhelming surge of what? Recognition? Longing? Love. Ashley's eyes widened and her bioluminescent patterns flared bright gold, a color none of the other Zanari displayed. She froze mid-step, causing a ripple of concern among her delegation. The human, she spoke in perfectly translated English through the neural interface, her voice like crystal chimes. The male in the 3rd row. What is happening to him? The human ambassador, Commander Patricia Wells, looked confused. Dr. Richardson? He appears fine to me. No, Ashley insisted, moving closer, her scanning tendons extending slightly from her temples, an invasive gesture that made her guards tense. His neurochemistry, it's cascading, dopamine, oxytocin, norepinephrine, all elevated to dangerous levels. His pupils are dilated, heart rate increased by 43%. This is a medical emergency. Alex felt his face flush as every eye in the chamber turned toward him. I'm fine, he managed to stammer. Ashley approached until she stood, directly before him, her height matching his almost exactly. This close he could see the intricate patterns that danced across her skin, smell something like ozone and honey, feel the slight electromagnetic field that all Zanari generated. You are not fine, she said, concern evident in the deepening purple of her coloration. Human Richardson, you are experiencing a severe physiological crisis. I am a xenomedical specialist. I must understand this condition. She turned to the assembled diplomats. Do humans often suffer such attacks during first contact scenarios? Is this a fear response? Commander Wells stepped forward, recognition dawning on her face. Dr. Richardson, are you attracted to the Zanari delegate? The silence that followed was deafening. Alex wanted the deck to open beneath him and swallow him whole. But he was a scientist, and honesty was the foundation of his profession. Yes, he admitted quietly. I apologize if I've caused a diplomatic incident. I didn't mean to. Attracted? Ashley interrupted, her coloration shifting rapidly through the entire visible spectrum. This cascade of neurochemicals is attraction? This is what humans experience. During mate selection? Sometimes, Alex said, finding his voice despite his embarrassment, though usually not this intensely, or this quickly. Ashley's guards exchanged what could only be described as shocked glances. One of them spoke urgently in their native tongue, a language of harmonic frequencies beyond human hearing. The neural translators struggled to keep up. This is unprecedented, Ashley said, her voice filled with wonder rather than concern now. My people require years of careful compatibility analysis, pheromone matching, and cognitive synchronization before mate bonding. But you. She looked at Alex with something that might have been awe. You determined all of this in 3.7 seconds? I didn't determine anything, Alex protested. It just happened. It's not logical. It's probably just a reaction to the stress of first contact, or maybe some kind of biological response to your electromagnetic field, or you are trying to explain away what you feel, Ashley observed. She turned to address both delegations. I must confess something that may cause diplomatic complications. I, too, am experiencing something unprecedented. Her coloration stabilized into a warm amber glow. When I first perceived human Richardson, my neural pattern recognition systems identified approximately 2,000 compatibility markers. His genetic diversity, his curiosity resonance, the specific frequency of his bioelectric field, all of it aligns with my own parameters in ways I have never encountered. My people spend decades searching for such alignment, yet I found it in him. Instantly. The chamber erupted in murmurs from both species. Commander Wells raised her hand for silence. Are you saying that you're also attracted to Dr. Richardson? If attracted means that every analytical system in my body is insisting that this being represents optimal partnership potential, then yes, Ashley said simply. She looked back at Alex. But I am confused. Your species acts on such immediate assessment, without verification, without certainty? Alex laughed, surprising himself. That's what makes us human, I think. We leap before we look. We feel before we think. It's illogical and dangerous and has caused us countless problems throughout our history. He met her luminous gaze. But it's also given us art, poetry, music, and every story worth telling. We call it love at first sight, and we've been writing about it for thousands of years. Fascinating, Ashley breathed, and terrifying. Yeah, Alex agreed. That too. Commander Wells cleared her throat. Perhaps we should continue the formal diplomatic proceedings and address this situation afterward. But Ashley shook her head, her coloration now a determined crimson. No, this is important. This human, Alex, has taught me something crucial about your species in less than 5 minutes. You trust your instincts even when they defy logic. You embrace uncertainty as part of your strength, not a weakness to eliminate. She addressed her own delegation. We Zanari have spent millennia perfecting our systems, eliminating variables, choosing certainty over chance. Perhaps that is why we have stagnated while humanity, barely 2 centuries into space travel, has already reached our doorstep. She turned back to Alex, extending her hand in a gesture she must have learned from human cultural databases. Alex Richardson, I would like to know you better. Not for diplomacy, not for science, but because both your instinct and my analysis agree on something neither of us fully understand. Will you teach me about this human concept of taking chances? Alex took her hand, feeling the slight electric tingle of her touch. Only if you teach me about Zanari certainty. Maybe between us we'll find something new. As their hands joined, Ashley's bioluminescence and Alex's neural activity synchronized in a pattern that the monitoring equipment couldn't quite explain, but both species recognized as the beginning of something unprecedented. Humanity had reached for the stars on faith and instinct. The Zanari had mapped every possibility before making a single move. But in that moment, both civilizations learned that perhaps the greatest discoveries happened in the space between certainty and chance, between analysis and intuition, between two beings who dared to trust what their hearts, or their hearts' equivalents, told them in an instant. The diplomatic talks that followed would reshape both civilizations, but they all agreed later that the real breakthrough happened in those first few moments, when a human and a Zanari proved that some universal truths transcended species, culture, and even logic itself. Love, it seemed, needed no translation.